Welcome, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is a one of a kind episode. If the first 10 seconds didn't already make you think that, so welcome to Dream Chasers, where hustle meets house. Before I forget, obviously our sponsor is House of Hustle. You can go to House of Hustle Ltd .com right now, houseofhustleltd.com, and check out the merch, the sample packs, everything we got going on over there. If you head to the cart, go to checkout, make sure you put the code hustle15 in there to get a nice little discount. Again, that's hustle15 on houseofhustleltd.com. Okay, back to the shenanigans. We've got the founder of House of Hustle, Patrick Stett, here. We've also got a new team member. Well, there's actually a part two that's not here, but we've got one representative of our two team members here today. Excited to dive into the story. I almost feel bad. I feel like I'm shifting from we had such a good conversation 2 minutes ago. I hope we can salvage that and do something hilarious here. But anyways, I do want to just share with our audience kind of the story, how we got to meet AJ, Rise the Jellyfish. What are we even excited, about talking about here today? So I think actually I'd kick it over to you, Patrick, if you could tell the story on how we met this man, and then allow him to kind of share what he's bringing to the table here at House of Hustle.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been.
That is, if you're done with your yoga stretching.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
The House of Hustle stretching sessions. This is so early. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, we had the release right on Hustle Tracks back in, I want to say April, May. I don't really remember now.
April.
Time flies. And then I think for actually Dream Chasers, we also had, was it just you, AJ, right?
It was just me.
Yeah, on here, and you were chatting and all that stuff. And I mean, we've had plenty of guests on, but after that session, I remember speaking to Adam, and we had like a really interesting conversation there. So I don't really remember how the next thing happened.
I could say this: when from the moment we reached out to AJ, I noticed, and this is something I'm continuously trying to get better at as a newer producer and DJ in this industry, but his level of professionalism and responsiveness, and you could just tell when someone's like about their business when you reach out to them. And from the very first message, I was like, okay, these guys are a little bit different than like your typical artist that's on the rise right now. No pun intended, but on the rise right now. And I think, Patrick, you and I had a couple conversations, and
that's how
you were like, hey, you know who I've been talking to? And I was like, man, that doesn't surprise me at all, because like those guys are dialed in, they're locked in. So that's, I think intuitively we knew there was something here, and then now here we are.
Yeah, so that was probably it. And you probably like opened that Pandora's box for me, saying something about how you kind of clicked with AJ and like the vibe and all that stuff. And then obviously, as it is when you have releases and stuff, you communicate with people and you start throwing little things out there to see, because for some people, they kind of, how can I say, how it is, like it's with any relationship, and that's to do, I think, more with personality sometimes rather than just like what you do in life. Like some people just click, right, in terms of energies and all that stuff. And I would say that's where it really happened here, because obviously you clicked with AJ, Adam, and then I started speaking with you a little bit, and I think we clicked really, really quickly as well. And then we jumped on a couple of like Zoom calls and all that. And a lot of this has to do with upcoming releases and things like that. So it's not just like a one-sided, we're just going to fit you in here. But, finding out, AJ, that you're doing like a lot of, apart from your own productions, you're also doing a lot of stuff with other producers that are learning and all of that. And I remember you also said you used to work with clubs and stuff, right?
Yeah,
right?
I managed 2 different clubs here in the city for about 5 years. I was the talent booker for the one main club in Edmonton that brought all the talent. So that kind of was the beginning start to our career, kind of going through. I always knew it's something important. You can't just have the artist side without the business side, and I understood that the business side is going to come from understanding things in the background.
Right. Yeah, so I think that those were some of those pieces in the puzzle, because you know how we typically work at them when we have our Friday session, where we throwing a lot of things up there on the wall, and then we're trying to find like a way to piece things together. And that sometimes doesn't happen easily, not between you and I, but then when you try to get someone else to be involved with that. But I think that's where it, at least up until now, it has felt very different with AJ and Iskander, who is not with us today. So, I mean, in a short box, like what's happening in the next few days and weeks is that we have their Locomotion EP dropping on the 22nd of August. And it's such a cool summer release. I love that thing. That first track, AJ Locomotion, took me back to when I was living in Barcelona, 2003, 2004, with that, what do you call it, like Balearic, sort of like quite progressive house sound that was super big at that time. So that's just like the EP itself is really, really cool, comes out on the 22nd. And then we've also worked with the boys here on a sample pack, right?
Sweet.
And the idea is kind of like we're dropping the sample pack, today is Saturday 9th, next Saturday. And then Friday after that, we're dropping Locomotion EP. And then following through with that, we're going to do another one of those that we have done in the past, but where, like a remix contest related to the Locomotion EP, right? But instead of it just now being just us pushing it more as a label, the idea is to get, AJ and Iskander more part of that machinery and make it much more of a, really get everyone involved, bring the community into this whole thing.
Interactive.
Yeah. Because we do have some ideas about, Adam, we've spoken a lot about how to build a community that feels very organic and not forced into something, right?
Where it starts with the people, starts with the culture.
Right.
You just, you talk about the story of how we all just naturally clicked. For whatever reason, I feel like the last 6 months in particular too, just even in my kind of day-to-day life with what I do for business, it's like every time something works out, like from a relationship perspective, you always kind of knew from the beginning, like, okay, this could be good. And sometimes when it doesn't, you're like, I knew this person was gonna let me down or whatever. So to see, just to kind of again validate what you were saying earlier, Patrick, and now, some of this is actually news to me, which is cool because I get to give you a firsthand reaction. But I think that hearing the direction we're going with AJ and his candor is like just music to my ears, because Patrick, we've been talking for a year about what other artist, I guess, besides me, someone who actually does have a little bit of skin and like just time in the game, like these guys, who can we elevate with us? And I think this would be a good chance too for anyone tuned in right now. If you're an up and coming DJ producer, you want to be involved in a rapidly growing community, just take a look at House of Hustle and what we're doing. You can back me up on this, Patrick, but I'm pretty sure right now, we are accepting applications for anyone who wants to be another face of the Mount Rushmore that we're building here.
Yeah, I mean, I would even go further than that at this point, because I mean, yes, last night, me and evening, I would say, me and AJ, we were on a call about the upcoming sample pack, like a little bit of the sequencing of like this upcoming thing, because obviously we're looking at the release of the pack, the actual EP, and then the remix contest as hopefully as a sort of like that's the off ramp now onto like a new journey or a very sort of exciting journey to do with that community building idea and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm not going to spoil too much of our conversation yesterday, AJ, but it kind of ties into what you and I spoke about as well, Adam, about AI projects and things like that. And it was just one of those things where I don't want to go too far with that one today. I think we should do that one in another one. But it was kind of like this where I pressed one or two buttons, and I think AJ just sort of went
like that. See my jaw drop there in the car.
Yeah. And we were just, we just want to drop our day jobs and just talk again on Monday, get this thing off the ground kind of thing.
You are going to have to help me, though. Patrick needs to remember it's Chat GPT.
Yeah. I can't do this.
The AI guy calls it Chat GTP. I'm like,
we're just gonna have to AI that in the actual live thing that comes out to the public, right? Like I can't look like a retard again. Jesus. I can't get it right. I'm
Another
GPT.
thing, because we're gonna do some more sessions like this too, House of Hustle HQ episodes, I guess
Yeah.
we're thinking about calling them. And also, I think he's going to get the hang of it here pretty soon. But AJ, you're in the room with a podcaster, so I have as you know, no problem talking. And Patrick, even though he's not a podcaster, he's getting there now. So you gotta fight for airwaves around here, man.
Yeah, no, totally. I'll kind of just chime in on things on our end of way. It all really started with, again, in my opinion, it was the House of Hustle guest mix that kind of took things off with us doing the podcast and doing the guest mix. That kind of led to Patrick liking Locomotion, which wasn't even a done track at the time. It was literally a 30-second intro that we had just made for the guest mix. Wasn't completed, it wasn't anything. And yeah, Patrick loved it. And as I've said before, we've both been such fans of Hustle from the beginning of our career. It was one of the labels that we first fell in love with when we first got into house music. I remember when Omnam released on it back in the day, that was like kind of my biggest moment going into Hustle, and that kind of drew me in. And ever since then, it became one of the labels that was on our list of our dream labels. And getting the opportunity to talk to Patrick about doing the sample pack kind of started leading things more into, okay, well, there are some things that we feel like we do good in the industry and then we do good, whether it's on social media or with the community that we've created. And there's definitely something I've wanted to bring onto other things, and having Patrick be open to us joining and hopefully creating something a little bit different where you are taking the combination of both the way we run social media nowadays and the way we do content to kind of interacting with people, but not making it be so serious and having that kind of fun side to things. Definitely like looking to bring that into it. And then also just the fact that we both kind of share similar ideas, and Adam's the same thing. When we talked, I felt like we kind of shared a lot of the same perspective on things, and seeing that with Patrick kind of every week it felt like we were like getting more and more ideas of things that we are down the line going to be doing, and I feel like they're going to be really great. It's just
can we talk about, because I've heard a lot of the cool ideas that are cooking, and it sounds like the locomotion or locomotive.
Yeah,
locomotion. I do actually remember hearing that record now too, that you said. I didn't. Now I'm putting it all together. But that's a big moment coming up. After that, I know there's like 2 or 3 other solid initiatives you and Patrick have been talking about. Could you share which one is like able to be shared the most right now?
Yeah, so the biggest one we're kind of gonna follow up and kind of introduce everything we're planning to do with the partnership is the remix contest post the EP. We're going to be doing a remix contest where whether it's either people are downloading the pack, which will contain some things from the EP, or it could be that they are just doing a remix of the stems of the EP itself. That'll be kind of kicking off the things where we will include the community. We'll be doing it over Twitch, hopefully, where we do a live demo review. We'll sit there, we'll review the demos. People get to hear our feedback on it, as well as they have the chance to release on House of Hustle. I feel like that's going to create something where we will draw people in, and people will be sitting there in the same room, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, giving feedback, and kind of having a face out there for people to tune into and know that their music is being heard, their demos are being listened to, and that there is feedback coming from it. And it's not just you submit and you may never hear or you may never know. It's you submit and we're going to be creating that community where we genuinely sit and we want to see people improve. We want people tuning in. We want people waiting for the next time that we are going to be doing something like that.
Yeah, you know who I love does that a great job with that type of angle, as well as the guys over at Data Transmission. I don't know if you ever seen any of their live ones. And they're, I know they're good friends of ours here too. For the remix competition, just for anyone who's tuned in right now, and before I forget too, we've been talking about the sample pack, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, when you go get that sample pack, use that discount code hustle 15. But when it gets to the remix contest, how do people enter to be in the contest?
So we'll have a link that will be posted. We'll have a promotion kind of go. So we'll make a video that will be go up on Instagram with the exact details of how much time it's going to be. We'll people know kind of what the set rules are, even though there won't be like rules, but we still want it to match the House of Hustle vibe, and we want it to still fit within the labels sound, if that makes sense. So we're still coming up with the exact rules, and they'll be posted when we kind of create that intro video for it. It'll be like a fun video, but keep your guys out. It shouldn't be too long here. And then
Oh yeah, follow Rise the Jellyfish and House of Hustle on Instagram if you don't already. Go do it right now. Cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that kind of like is the kickoff moment for us that kind of gets things started, and then from there, as Patrick said, we've had so many ideas that we've talked about and talked over and over and kind of like have built, and it's just now it's a matter of kicking things off. And with the remix contest, it's just the first step to get people introduced to kind of that we are doing something a little bit different, that we are introducing something new. And with that, then we just start following up with other stuff. And so for anybody that is listening, don't just tune in for that one thing. Keep tuning in. There will be new things posted every month. We're going to be coming up with dope stuff. And even just speaking of the remix contest, that's as Patrick, me and him have both talked about, it's something that we would want to keep going, like as a Twitch demo review even after that. So if we have a lot of interest and people are tuning in and they're submitting their demos, and we see that, hey, we can only not work with the remix contest, then we will start moving on and doing it on Twitch and giving people feedback. And again, creating the community where people can genuinely tune into things whether it's every month, every 2 months, and they not only connect with us from the label side of things, but we're also able to bring people together to connect with each other. That if they're a fan of us,
that's the whole premise of this, like connecting people. Because I don't know, but I'm guessing you both look at social media most days, right? And there is just like lately, at least I feel that people are starting to really feel a little bit that sort of disconnect, because like people have built their profiles for years and stuff, and then no one sees what you're posting. It's just like weird, like the whole algorithm and all that stuff, right? So I think that initial sort of excitement of you feeling like you shared with the people who cared about you, and then like because of the changes in algorithm, now they don't even see you because for whatever reason, right? Yeah. And then you have to do those kind of like what we spoke about. It was you and I, Adam, yesterday. Like you have to connect these other things like ManyChat and all those things to try to trigger like this fake popularity, because you have to be like comment hype in the same. It's like, why don't you just show it to the people who like me from the beginning, and then we don't have to have that, in the first place. It's just, are they coming for who they're coming for? I'm hearing a police sirens in the background.
Hey guys, I live in Gotham City. That's me.
Dude, that's funny actually. When I did live in Alberta, AJ, we lived like 3 blocks from a fire station, and do like every hour. It got to the point where you just get used to it.
It's
like
across
white
the street.
noise.
I can see the fire station from my window. It's a fire
station. Yeah, you live next to a fire station, ladies and gentlemen. That's the life.
They have one, right? It's very dumb. They have it downtown, right in between the big 4 like tower apartment buildings we have. It makes they
gotta be ready for August 22nd, because your place is about to be on fire.
Yeah. Whole building and light
up. No, but what I was just getting towards is just that thing of trying to connect people in a very natural way, and kind of like shared through that passion for music as the center point, right? And then if you can build some additional value around those relationships, and we can build on top of that without asking people for much, because that's the thing. Like a lot of things today, they require a lot of personal investment, and I think people are so exhausted when they just want to get out of that whatever 9 to 5 work and just come and hang with people who share something, right? And if you add too many roadblocks on the way, it kind of feels like now it's either a very hefty investment in terms of money or personal investment. If you can just hang and be and social and kind of like chill with other people in a cool way where it's music focused or whatever it is, right? I think those are going to be the ones moving forward, right? And also, I think on top of everything we're talking about, I think, music is the thing that kind of brought us 3 together here. But I also think the whole connectivity of like all three of us being super into AI, being super into like really advancing and taking advantage of all that technology versus being afraid of it and kind of hiding behind your, you know, and I think that's where the three of us have really found that sort of, you know, connectivity, because we all find people who are into AI. I'm not saying we don't have those people, but it's hard to find them. And then also they like dance music, and then also they like that. Those are the things where it's harder to find that funnel of people, right? At least to me, here in Cabo, it's like hard, really hard.
Yeah, yeah. Day to day, AI conversations are. I don't know. You're right, Patrick. So the only people, well, you're one of the few people I know where I can like hop on here and like talk about the new updates. I know AJ and I haven't like had a chance to do that yet, but it's a tricky dance, I think, in dance music right now because in a lot of industries, but I know with the arts, I think a lot of people are feeling afraid for their futures because of just how strong some of this stuff is. But you know, at the end of the day, AI, it needs like a human to have as a reference point from the get-go. Otherwise it can't work. So I don't know, I'm not a part of the AI doom and gloom thing. I just think that it's going to transform the way that we do our work, but it's going to make it more the benefits far outweigh the negatives.
It can be it can be a thing that hinders you. Like the way some people look at it, it's like, oh, like it's like, let's say in music terms, like, oh, it's gonna replace us. Like, first of all, I don't think so ever. I don't think AI can gain soul, and people don't seem to realize that. Like, as good as AI is gonna get, there's a certain soul aspect that comes from when we sit behind the computer, and whether we play an instrument, like we feel something soul that comes from behind that I don't feel AI will ever be able to get. So you can't ever relate the two. Can it make something similar? Sure, but it can't replace in that sense. You can let it hinder you by sitting there and saying, I'm not gonna use it, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. Or what you can do is find ways to use it to elevate yourself, right? If it can do something that good on its own, imagine what it can do when you can use it with your own ideas and your own production or your own designs, whatever it is. One of the biggest things I've found recently that I don't feel like enough producers take advantage of is even getting AI to analyze your music and getting it, get like ChatGPT, getting it listen to your song and give you feedback. If you get feedback from somebody, you're able to give it to chat and get it to help you. If you don't understand, maybe we all get feedback sometimes from whether it's different artists that we send music to or friends, and you may not understand something that they tell you. Instead of having such a close-minded about it, AI is one of those things where you can get.
I've actually never tried uploading a record into Chat GPT before. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Have you never done that, Adam? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We got feedback given to us for one of our records we're about to sign, and I plugged it in, and it was able to pinpoint exactly the time in my song where every single point of feedback needed to be fixed. And then
what prompts do you like to use to get it to give good feedback?
Just literally ask it, be like, I need help with my mixing, and let's say mixing, you haven't done your mastering, I need helping with the mixing of my track. Please pay attention to the low end, let's say, or something, or just do a full analyzation. And it will literally go through your track and analyze everything from your mixing side of things, your ideas, if something feels a little empty. Like, it will literally tell you if there's a section in your song that feels a little empty or doesn't feel full or something like that. Like, you can go with that in depth into. And so the whole point of why I'm saying that is it's one of those things where you can choose to let it be your doom, or you can choose to let it be the thing that takes you to the next level. And
I think the big sort of like how can I say, the lock on the whole thing for a lot of people is that they don't really know how to prompt, right? And they're afraid of doing it. Like how can I say, because it's called Chat GPT, Adam. GPT.
There you go.
Yeah. Whoa. We're just gonna copy that. I'm just gonna, like, when I edit this final thing, I'm just gonna copy that into the previous one. Okay. So there's not gonna be anyway. No, but that's the thing. People are also, I think, afraid of that sort of conversation with it because it's called chat, right? Like, it's not like Google. Well, now Google does it as well. But before, you've asked Google something, it answered, right? It wasn't really a chat, so to speak. And it's called Chat GPT for a reason, because you're literally in conversation with this machine,
Exactly.
right? And that's the thing. I haven't done it lately in that sense of like asking for mix advice. I did it maybe 6 months ago, right? And I discovered the same thing as you did the other day, AJ, when you did it. But what I did as well was to say, because it gave me back, and it was like, yeah, around like 200, you're a little bit muddy, blah, blah, like the typical stuff you always have, like in dance music, right? It's impossible not to. And I said, okay, this is great. I didn't know you had these abilities, but where are your limitations as of today? Like when it comes to, and then it went, well, I do this and this really well. Where I'm still struggling a little bit is to do A, B, and I don't remember them on the top of my head because it's like 6 months ago. But that's what I mean. I don't know how many people would ask that follow-up just to be sure where you're, they would just run with it. And then that's also can take you on a, I had a perfect example yesterday. I was preparing like one of the Hustle Tracks releases. And typically what I do is like, I find like the artist bio, and then I have like the MP3 or the WAV or the private SoundCloud, and I drop it in there and I say, hey, please listen to the track. Help me kind of like come up with a good sort of angle of how to write the about text, like the one that goes out when you submit it to the stores and the streaming sites. And many times this goes on that very generic kind of like, this is a chunky, clunky, percussive tech house weapon. And I'm like, dude, I'm calling you dude now. I'm like, that wasn't, and then I go, that wasn't even an effort. I need you to act as if you were writing for like a professional DJ mag kind of thing. I need the tone to be sort of like to those kind of DJs and stuff who would read that. So, the end goal is that if someone reads that text, they would like to press play, not just you putting together random tech house weapon kind of like sentences.
Yeah, actually,
right?
because you definitely start to see that in a lot of label. Everyone's using it now, and you can see high octane.
Whenever something starts, when anything starts with that, I'm like, hey, you've been there. Whether you're out doing this,
you know what I remove anytime I use AI as much as I can. I try to remove those long dashes.
Hell, that's my daily thing. Every chat, I'm like, don't use it. I never use them. Then it goes, okay, noted. Then I'm in another chat doing another blog post or something, and it's just like fucking doing that long dash. And I'm like,
still does it. Yeah.
2 years. I'm like, 2 years, dude. I've said it to you every fucking day. Where's your logical here? Like, how can you not apply it throughout? Why do I have to say it every day?
Adam, one thing I told Patrick as well that I don't know if you've done yet is I found chat to be way more powerful if you speak to it as opposed to type. So if you turn on like the talking mode and you're able, and I use this even again for everybody listening up there that produces, I use it for even literally like talking about ideas with it, and like they'll actually go in depth and we'll talk about like, okay, like if I am trying to, like I was trying to figure out what the next trend is. Sorry guys. We were trying to find what the next trend would be, and kind of like
chat calling you. Chat is calling you.
And it's just kind of like it talking to it, because maybe this is actually for anybody that doesn't know how to use prompts. Maybe you don't know how to use prompts to get it to chat, but there is the speaking mode, and the speaking mode you can literally talk to it as another person.
That's a really good. I always forget that you can talk. I've done it a couple times, and for example, 2 times that I did, I'm like, that was so helpful, and I didn't want the conversation to end either. I'm like, I'm having a good talking to this robot right now.
No, the thing is, the more you train it, it's like everything else. Like, the more you train it about you, and the more you kind of like feed information about yourself, and kind of make sure that like there are certain things that I tell it to remember about us, and that I tell it to keep in mind that this is, if I mention Rise of the Jellyfish, this is kind of like things that you're going to be building on. And so it's another tool that's in front of you for you to use. It's not.
This will probably, I'm thinking even a year from now, it'll be silly to talk about how this is cool. But I've noticed right now that GPT-5 is out, it's finally really starting to pull information from like previous chats. that I've had. Like I've said a few things recently, and it was like, oh well, it didn't even say remember when, but it like used references from stuff that I talked about like 3-4 months ago, and that's something I always wanted in it. But they were really big on, hey, the chats aren't continuous or whatever. So have you guys noticed that with the newer one?
Yeah. That happens to me a lot because of like a lot of the stuff we're doing with, let's say, like the Facebook ads and things like that. Sometimes those chats, or when I do all the stuff with the sample packs to come up with like the written parts and how to sort of like do the, I don't know, like the videos, things like that. Because I drop everything in there, like videos, all that stuff, and it analyzes sort of frame per frame if the color is right, if it sort of like if the music is like on point with the visual, blah blah blah. And I get to where I get a lot is that you've reached the maximum of like the how much you can chat with it in one chat, right? So then I have like House of Hustle Strategy 1, and then I have to start a new chat that is like House of Hustle Strategy 2, right? So it kind of like, and then I because it kind of tells you, yes, do that, and say picking up on Hustle Chat, Strategy Chat number 1, and then you can just continue in that. So what I end up doing, because now I have like 6 of those, I sometimes go in and I'm not writing in one of those chats, and I go, oh, Jesus, I need to work on this thing, but I don't remember in which chat we talked about this one. And then it finds it for me, and then I know which chat we were in talking about that, right?
Nice.
But have you guys done this thing? Because I did it like a month or two where I went, okay, we worked together now for the last almost 2 years. Like, how would you rate my skills and like, how would you identify my skills and my level on a scale 1 to 10 kind of thing, right? And everyone will have a very different result there, but it started doing that to me, and it was like very honest about like, okay, you're good at this, but you're lacking a little bit here, whatever, right? And I've never told like my chat, like here, my story. It knows who I am in like broad sort of like strokes, I guess.
Like we noticed you really like bikinis.
Oh, don't start doing that again. I was telling Adam yesterday that my wife and I had a conversation a few weeks ago, like in front of the phone or whatever, right? About like how she wanted to buy some bikinis for the next 2 weeks.
This is his excuse, I think, AJ.
All I saw, yeah, exactly. But all I saw on my fucking phone were like bikini ads. I'm like, fucking hell, come on. No, but anyway, and then
it happens because I didn't turn. I don't have headphones on today, so I might start getting them now.
This thing is gonna just show me that again now. I'm just like, that's another 2 weeks for me seeing that thing. But thank you, Adam. No, but what I was saying was, so then like a few weeks went on and stuff, and for some reason we were in another work related chat, me and chat. And it kind of went, oh, I'm curious. I don't remember how it came up, but I said, yeah, so I'm Swedish, but now I've lived over here and then over there, and then finally now in Mexico. And that's when chat went, oh, now everything makes sense, because I couldn't really pinpoint your character traits and all that stuff because you're in Mexico, but like your journey through and like that sort of like quite Scandinavian, squarish, organized kind of mindset. Like now everything is clicking, because it was like I couldn't really pinpoint that part of you, right?
It was like, now I know you why you always type Y instead of J.
yeah. But
I gotta ask you guys this too. Have either of you made any custom GPTs yet?
I have not, but that is on my list.
Okay. We gotta. I pulled it up here because I had a couple moments recently where people that, and I still look up to these people, and I'm not going to say names, but there's a couple people in my world, especially in the AI side of things, that I look up to. And I've been building, thanks to our producer, Mark, who knows this, I've been building custom GPTs for like almost a year now, very casually. I've made a ton the last like 3 months. And the process, I just want to walk you guys through it here, if you don't mind, because it's just not as there's mental hurdle, like, oh, I got to go make this GPT, but it's really cool. So I think we could live on the interview right now, build one to like help us continue to grow the brand of House of Hustle.
Yeah,
sure. Go for it. Go for it.
Cool. So I'm just gonna say I need help. Let's say making we'll just say custom GPT that can help us identify gaps and opportunities I love how you never have to really spell it right either.
Yeah.
Gaps and opportunities.
It understands.
House of Hustle. I'll put the website in there so it knows. House of Hustle. Like hustletd.com. Cool. This will be used by most, we'll just say all members, just so everyone can get it, all members of the team. Now that you guys see how I'm kind of putting this together, as I type this, does anything come to mind for you that you would like want to make it do? If not, all good, because it asks some pretty good follow-up questions. But why don't we just do that? Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. So boom. Got it. So you want a custom GPT designed to analyze House of Hustle's business, website, and maybe even presence to identify gaps and opportunities. This GPT would help support the team in strategic thinking, right? Tailor it to do, let's see. So what kind of gaps and opportunities do you want to focus on? I'll ask you that, Patrick. What kind of gaps and opportunities do you want to focus on?
Ooh, that's a, yeah, I mean, I think gaps, sort of opportunities.
Community, yeah?
Community,
yeah, exactly.
Customer, like people engagement. New opportunities, like
maybe finding up and coming artists,
right?
Associate with the brand. Okay, we'll do that for that one. Number 2, does this need to work with any specific internal info? If it does, we can get that. Let's say yes, we'll provide later, but say however, pull data from I'll say our song stats profile, because that has everything. Shout out to the song stats guys. We got to get I think they're going to come back on the show here soon. Should it provide actionable recommendations, generate reports, or something else? Say yes to both.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm just ripping through it, but cut me off if you want.
That's cool. That's cool.
Any particular style or tone you want it? I think
casual and detailed, probably.
Yeah. Let's do that casual.
You don't want it to be too formal.
No.
Who's is there an artist or someone in the industry that's really like well known that talks a certain way that we would like?
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Or just even just like a celebrity. Like what celebrity?
I'm trying to think now. Yeah.
Maybe like Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Sure, that's a good
casual one. Yeah.
He can. Yeah. Let's do that.
Shout out to Canada.
Ryan Reynolds.
Let's put tone. Okay. Let's hit it. Let's see what we got here. Okay, still building. Okay, so purpose. Help team identify gaps and opportunities. Community building, discovering up-and-coming artists that fit the House of Hustle brand. Data sources will integrate from song stats once provided. Okay, I guess I'll put that in there. Actually, let me just grab that real quick. Song stats, House of Hustle.
Yeah, I've always wanted, like, one of the things I've wanted to make also with this is like even like a mixing feedback ChatGPT.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can do with it.
Yeah, it's insane. And now with this new thing of the
Chat
version 5 where you can build like plugins and things like that, it's just gonna, I think you're just gonna see a sea of not so good stuff coming out. But I think there's also gonna be some gems in
some
there,
really
right?
good stuff, yeah.
I mean, look at, for instance, I was thinking about it after our conversation yesterday, AJ. Like, look at the guys who put out like the sausage fattener and those things that are very
and the
visually like simple kind of. I'm not saying they're simple. There's probably lots of stuff under the hood, but like on a sort of like compared to some other plugins that we use, it's cool. If like there's like one
one button job. Yeah,
exactly.
It does the job.
Exactly.
You know exactly what you're using it for, and it does its thing.
Yeah. And I think it's just like that. Those are, I think, how can I say? I think a lot of people sit on very quality, like sort of high quality ideas, and I think what this is going to do is unlock a lot of that, right?
And again, that takes us back to our point of like people being afraid to use it, but it's kind of like it's a disadvantage to you to think it's gonna take something away from you when you're not even using it to gain something from it in the first place. Like you're already putting yourself on a disadvantage by not taking advantage of something that a lot of other people in the industry are. And like there's I wouldn't say a lot, but like some people are. And it's like again, don't make it all about chat and don't make it all about AI. But at the same time, like I know some people, like some friends in the industry who are like, no, I'll never use it. And I'm like, you're just gonna get caught lacking behind if you don't ever use it for reasons like that. Like now you can create plugins, you can get it to listen to your music, you can Oh, I mean, we haven't even dove into it. So like God knows what you can get it to make, right? So
for me, I always say, like, for me, I look at like these machines sort of like as a multiplier, and then your prompt is how potent that multiplier becomes, kind of thing, right?
Totally.
Like if you're good at prompting, and I used to actually in the early days, I used to connect with this additional paid service where you got like these pre-made prompts and stuff. But I don't know. I find just having a very, very sort of open conversation with it is the best way of doing it, because sometimes writing the perfect prompt, like, it doesn't really work. So I find like starting off with a good prompt, but then continuing sort of like fine tuning it as you go. Totally. I find that to give me the best results. Not like there is a one. How can I say? There's not.
No,
yeah, there
not
are some
cheat code like thing pop out. It's like it's again, it's a process, and it's one of those things where
again, it's a conversation. That's the thing. You're chatting with this thing, right? And it's like a coworker in a way, or you know, someone on your team. Like the difference is that this one knows like everything, so that's probably the thing. I mean, what I love recently, also because I'm not like huge on like math and stuff, but so, you know, because we have like the Shopify store. So like, you know, you download like the last 2 years of like all the stuff that's been going on, new customers, what's been selling, what's been not, and you upload that sort of Excel file to it, and it takes like 10 seconds, and it has like fully analyzed 2 years of work, and gives you like ideas of like what products to focus on and what to not, where your customers are going for, where to focus like your ads and all those things. And I mean, imagine sending that to a friend who is like savvy on analyzing like numbers. They would still need a week at least to go through all of that, you know? And now like 10 seconds later, you're already done and on to your next task, you know? I mean, how's it going there?
I don't know if you guys saw that, but I think it's like that's the first time I've ever run into that too. I'm guessing because they just did the new update, but it's like not working right now. So it was doing all the right things, but then it wasn't. It just wasn't working. So it's kind of embarrassing because we were talking about how great it is, but that
nothing is perfect.
But well, I'll have to take another stab at it. You know, later.
Thing, right? Like it's a growing thing. That's not again not perfect yet, and that's
no.
Takes it back to the whole idea. It was like people are afraid of something that's not even.
I mean, but you go ahead.
It's not even a perfect thing. It's not a complete thing. And like you said earlier, Adam, without us behind the computer, without us like inputting the initial idea, it can only do so much on its own.
Right. And I mean, you should have seen AJ's face yesterday when we were talking, and I went, "Oh, did you see that in this new version 5, like it's much easier to build plugins and stuff?" he just went, "What?"
I typed it in, and my whole mind was just blown. I was like,
"Wow." So if you see us all leaving our day jobs in the next few months and stuff, you know why. Like this is probably the start of that.
Thanks to chat.
Oh well, that. I mean, we're coming up on close to the end of our time here. I don't know. Is there anything? I don't know. Is there anything we didn't really dive into or didn't cover yet?
No, I think it's better to leave some of the stuff maybe for in the next session. It's just exciting to have both of you on, and there are still more people on the team that I would love to have at some point. It's just hard sometimes because we're all in different time zones, so it's very hard to not the three of us. We're kind of in the same ballpark, but like Marco is in Italy, and like the new guy who's from Brazil.
We literally have the whole planet covered.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's exciting to see, and I think it's hard to find, like I said before, it's not hard to find people who love the music or who love AI or who love whatever. But sometimes finding the people who love or excited about more or less the same things there can be quite difficult, I think. So that's exciting, guys, and for everyone who is listening, I think there will be some stuff coming up in the near future, hopefully. If Adam can get that fucking custom GPT working, and I can start pronouncing GPT correctly, then I think if we can get that right, I'm working on 3 letters. I'm just gonna have to pound on that one, and then Adam is gonna go and do some custom GPTs. And then I don't know, AJ. I'm leaving you out of this one. And Iskander, he just escaped the whole session, so he yeah. It would have been so fun before if he would have stepped through the door after the sirens were like sounding, and he was like the one they were chasing out on the street. But anyway, I think this is a great session, guys, and I really look forward to the next one. I hope it doesn't take too long until we do the next one. But yeah, I don't know, AG, if you have anything to say there. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of leave people with just the thoughts of staying tuned in due to the fact that, again, we have had people that have followed each of us separately. They followed the label separately. This is something that's going to be combining everything. This is something that, again, with the day and age that we're in, of the fast-paced social media and skipping through stuff, it's a moment to give you guys a place to come in and genuinely be able to hang out and create that community where we do want to see people progress. We do want to see people do great things. And we also want to create that community that is doing amazing things together. So don't be afraid to reach out to us when we do post things. Don't be afraid to reach out, whether it's to Patrick himself, to us, to Adam, to the Hustle Hustle team, and kind of want to be a part of everything that we are going to be bringing on, because the remix contest is just the first step, and it's the first step to many things that we've talked about and have been planning for 5 months now, Patrick. 4 months it's been of doing calls, right? So there is a lot of stuff in the background. There is a lot of stuff that we are going to be doing for the people who constantly, again, you guys are the reason that we have these careers and that we do those things. And we want to make sure that it's not just something you guys tune in, pay money for, or it's just a superficial thing. It's more of we're genuinely wanting to make that great community where everyone knows each other, everyone that's tuned in, everyone is looking forward to the next thing that we do and to the next amazing idea that we have.
Yeah, and we also really want, I mean, and you're saying some really, really important things there, AJ. And I think the idea is not for us to just go, oh, now we're building this community. The idea is to build the community, but build the community with the community and for the community, right? So it's one of those things where it's not one of those things where we have it all figured out, but I think that what we're all striving to achieve here is to, based on this kind of conversation today, where music is the central focus there, but it's also people who are into AI, people who are into that kind of like building those kind of like digital possibilities, I guess we can call them, as a sort of like quite a broad kind of name. Because I mean, me and Adam, we've been talking about this, I think, for the last 12 months now. And yes, as you all can tell, we still have some steps to take before we are fully experts in this field. But I mean, it's falling into place, and I think finding just like-minded people with those kind of visions, and then hopefully connecting with even more people from an upcoming community would be, for me, a great achievement, basically.
Totally. Well, yeah, we'll be keeping everyone here updated, as you can see, moving forward. August 22nd, we got Locomotion dropping. If you're listening after August 22nd, get over to SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, YouTube, wherever you get your music, stream it, check it out. If you're artist, producer, get on that remix contest if it's not too late. Again, all the information is going to be on the House of Hustle Instagram and social media, as well as Rise of the Jellyfish. Hey, if you want to hit me up to get you connected, I'm happy to do that. So check out the show notes, give everyone a follow, a like, all that good stuff. And as a final reminder, again, if you haven't already gone over to House of Hustle Ltd.com to get some merch, sample packs, all that good stuff, just go check out the website. I know Patrick keeps it fresh for us over there. You use the discount code HUSTLE15 at checkout. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We will catch you in the next episode again today. This was the House of Hustle HQ edition of Dream Chasers. We got Rise of the Jellyfish, AJ in the building. Hopefully we can get part 2 of the Jellyfish is Candor on here at the next one.
Do it a little later in the day to get him.
Exactly. Label boss Patrick Stett, who's also slowly coming out of his shell as a DJ. He used to be the man in Cabo like a decade ago, and I heard he's making a comeback. He can tell you about that on the next
episode.
And then you guys know where to find me. General Moses, thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level, and keep on hustling.